An exclusive international classified documents obtained by NTD reveal a province close to Beijing ordered a city to destroy data on the coronavirus epidemic. China published its very first coronavirus patient autopsy. Here's what they know about the way the virus infects organs so far. The first death of the novel coronavirus in the U.S. The man is from Washington state, where the governor has declared a state of emergency. The Trump administration is expanding travel restrictions on Iran. They also said Americans should avoid traveling to regions in South Korea and Italy.
Welcome to China in Focus. I'm your host, Tiffany Meyer. Internal documents obtained by NTD reveal Liaoning province, which is close to Beijing, has ordered a city to destroy data on the coronavirus epidemic. Liaoning province has been on lockdown for more than 20 days amid the coronavirus outbreak. One city, Chaoyang in Liaoning province, sent a report on February 23rd to the Province Health Commission. The report said the city's transport department, as well as 2 district authorities, had already followed an urgent instruction from the province and destroyed all data. According to the report, Chaoyang City was also required to register all people who had contact with the data and make sure that they all signed a non-disclosure agreement. The data mentioned in the report refer to information about people who had close contact with those infected with the virus. There were 13 signed non-disclosure agreements attached to the report. The agreement refers to classified data obtained on February 21st. The people who signed promised to 1. Destroy all data files and storage devices such as computers, USB flash drives, mobile phones, photos, and notes. Secondly, none of the above-mentioned data could be sent to anyone for any reason. And thirdly, this information may not be disclosed unless otherwise required by law. If any of these steps are violated, there will be legal consequences. So what happened on February 21st? Official documents released that day state there were 0 new cases of the coronavirus in Liaoning province. As for Chaoyang City, there were altogether 6 reported cases and no deaths. Since authorities were asked to destroy all data, what is it they were trying to hide? Is it the official number of cases? Since the outbreak began, the official number of confirmed cases in China keeps fluctuating, with many people not knowing what to believe. Earlier this month, Shandong province, the second most populous province in China, was underreporting cases by up to 52 times. That's according to internal documents obtained by NTD. China just published its first autopsy report of a coronavirus patient. Medical examiners say it's critical for coming up with treatment plans. NTD's Juliet Song reports.
China just published the very first autopsy report of a coronavirus patient, and experts find the lungs suffered damage. An expert says autopsy reports are the key to understanding the virus's transmission routes and the way it infects organs, so doctors can come up with better clinical treatments. Postmortem examinations found apparent lesions on the lungs, along with large amounts of grayish-white slimy liquid. The report says coronavirus pathological features are very similar to those of SARS and MERS. What's different is coronavirus doesn't cause as much thickened or stiff lung tissues, and there's more fluid in the lesions instead. The observation is based on the autopsy of an 85-year-old male. Since he died within 15 days of testing positive for the virus, the researchers said they need more time to study the disease. The report said it is unclear at this stage whether the coronavirus causes damage to the nerve system or other organs. The research is led by a professor from Huazhong University of Science and Technology and is pre-published in China's Journal of Forensic Medicine. Reporting by Juliet Song, NTD News.
Today, health officials announced the first coronavirus death in the U.S., a man in his 50s who was a patient at Evergreen Hospital in the Seattle area. Officials say the man did not have any travel history to infected countries like China or South Korea. But they say the person did have more than one chronic disease, which put him at high risk. Local health officials say people at greater risk of contracting the virus are the elderly, pregnant women, and those with underlying health conditions like lung disease, coronary diseases, and diabetes. They recommend people continue to practice basic precautions.
And we want people to understand that there are things that they can do to protect themselves from getting this infection, just as we can do things to protect ourselves from getting influenza. Hand washing, more hand washing, less face touching, staying away from others who are ill. Please don't go to work or school if you yourself are ill.
Governor Jay Inslee of Washington State has declared a state of emergency. Local officials are tracking down and testing people who have had contact with infected patients. A team from the Federal Centers for Disease Control will arrive in Washington State tonight to provide help. The U.S. is expanding travel restrictions on Iran to foreign nationals, and the State Department is urging Americans not to travel to parts of Italy and South Korea. NTD's Juliet Song has the details.
The U.S. is expanding travel restrictions on Iran and warns Americans to avoid travel to parts of Italy and South Korea.
Iran is also already under a travel ban, but we are expanding existing travel restrictions to include any foreign national who has visited Iran within the last 14 days.
The announcement came after the first coronavirus death in the U.S. Pence said at today's press conference that the travel advisory for affected regions in Italy and South Korea is now at level 4, its highest. Italy has confirmed 21 deaths and almost 900 infection cases.
We are urging Americans to not travel to the areas in Italy and the areas in South Korea that are most affected by the coronavirus.
South Koreans and Italians will also have to go through additional medical screenings in their own countries if they are coming into the United States. The State Department is working with these two countries to coordinate the effort.
President Trump says the U.S. has 43 million masks on hand and more are on the way. Today at a White House press conference, Trump said the country is prepared for any circumstance and that the administration's coronavirus task force has all hands on deck. Likewise, Vice President Mike Pence emphasized that the virus threat to American public remains low. He added that the average American does not need to buy a face mask. The official said the U.S. has contracted the manufacturing company 3M and others to produce 35 million masks per month. The president will meet with the world's largest pharmaceutical companies next Monday to discuss vaccine development. The coronavirus spread further on Saturday, with cases reported in new countries after the World Health Organization raised its impact risk alert to very high.
Fears of a pandemic rose on Saturday as coronavirus cases spread to new countries and death tolls jumped. Europe's worst outbreak remains in Italy, with officials saying several more people died on Saturday, bringing the country's total number of fatalities to at least 21. Also on Saturday, Qatar reported its first case of the coronavirus, a man who had recently returned from Iran. The Islamic Republic is the Gulf's most affected country, with authorities announcing over 40 dead, the highest number of deaths outside of China. Saudi Arabia is currently the only state in the region that has not reported any coronavirus cases. The outbreak has sent governments around the globe into frenzied attempts to contain the spread, whether they have cases or not. Australia said on Saturday it would deny entry to all foreign nationals travelling from Iran. Russia temporarily barred Iranians from entering the country and said it would also restrict entry to South Koreans starting March 1st. South Korea has the largest number of infections outside of China and reported its biggest daily increase of cases on Saturday, with the total number of infections surpassing 3,000. Meanwhile, the UK's total number of infections rose to 23 on Saturday. The rapid spread has crashed world stock markets and prompted the World Health Organization to raise the highest level of alarm, saying on Friday that the risk of global spread was now very high.
And we have now increased our assessment of the risk of spread and the risk of impact of COVID-19 to very high at global level.
Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe called for public cooperation on Saturday as his country prepares to hold the Olympic Games in Tokyo this summer. Japan has seen more than 940 cases of infection, and Abe has already called for all schools to be closed for over a month.
On Saturday, South Korea mobilized its army to disinfect a train station in Daegu, the site of a church at the center of the coronavirus outbreak. Soldiers were seen spraying disinfectant on the floor and facilities inside and outside Daegu Station as part of efforts to prevent the spread of the virus. South Korea urged citizens to stay indoors as it warned of a critical moment in its battle against the coronavirus. After recording the biggest daily jump in infections as 813 new cases took the tally to 3,150. Stores in Japan are seeing shortages of toilet paper as it sells out in droves amid the spread of the coronavirus. Toilet paper and tissue are nearly out of stock in Japan as residents panic buy in anticipation and fear of the coronavirus. Concern is rising that the situation in the country may soon reach its peak. This as the government yesterday closed all schools, from nursery to high school, as the nation prepares for even more virus spread. Following the announcement, locals rushed to nearby stores to stock up on basic necessities, mostly toilet paper and tissue on top of face masks. Organizers of the 2020 Summer Olympic Games in Tokyo have reiterated they are pushing ahead as planned, despite fears over the spread of the coronavirus. Speaking on Friday, officials said there are currently no other plans being considered.
Tokyo has no plan B for this year's Summer Olympics, despite alarm over the spread of the coronavirus in Japan and elsewhere, with less than 5 months before the event. A senior official of the Tokyo 2020 organising committee told Reuters on Friday that, quote, there will not be one bit of change in holding the Games as planned. Preparations have been going on for the best part of a decade. Tokyo! And with around $12 billion of investment, Japan is eager to quell fears the Games may be called off, postponed, or moved to a different location due to the virus. Though on the decline in China where it originated, the flu-like disease is moving fast around the world, including more than 200 cases and 5 deaths in Japan. The man potentially with the final say on this matter is International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach, who bolstered Tokyo's stance on Thursday, saying his organisation was fully committed to holding the Olympics on schedule. In a telephone interview, the Games delivery team said that they were, quote, facing up to the coronavirus, but it would not derail the 3-week event starting in late July. Some Japanese media have reported on a 6-month postponement being considered, but that's also been denied by the organisers, adding that preparations were on track. Japan is, however, considering scaling back the Olympic torch relay due to the coronavirus threat. And in its latest statement on the issue, the IOC said preparations for Tokyo 2020 continued as planned, and it had full confidence in authorities to take all necessary measures.
Here at China in Focus, we bring you first-hand information from inside China. Don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates.